In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection IG-11 from The Mandalorian. Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And as I mentioned in the intro, in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection IG-11. Now first of all, I've got to say a big thank you to my good friend Gary in the US, lives in Texas. He found these for me in his local Target, I think it was, and was very kind enough to send them over to me. I did pay for them, and I did pay for the postage and everything, but he was very kind to go out of his way to send them to me so I can get them nice and early for this review. So with all that being said, if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to drop a like down below. Let's just take a look at the card back before we move on to the figure. So there is the card back. This is the same image that they used for the retro collection, so we have seen this image before. One thing that I did notice originally when I saw the retro collection version of this was that the image used is ever so slightly out of focus, especially from there on up. But I think that's sort of the aesthetic that they're going for. This is a vintage collection line, and some of the Kenner images back in the day weren't the greatest either. So perhaps that's why they've gone for that. We can see he's got IG-11 in the name pill. Yellow background really makes the figure pop, and he looks absolutely fantastic on that bubble there. He looks really good. Another Mandalorian card back to go into the collection, really pumping these out now. We've got the Kenner logo at the bottom. Back of the card we have the other figures in the wave, which I will be reviewing over the next couple of days. So we have the Emperor, Tebow and Lando Calrissian, and then we have that repack wave there as well. He is VC206 in the line. So there you go, one more time. Just have a look at that card back. Beautiful card back. It's going to look fantastic with the others. The figure there just looks fantastic. I cannot wait to get this guy out of the package. So we're going to do that right now and not waste any more time. Alright then, so here is IG-11 out of the packaging, and first impressions, what a figure this is. The sculpting on this figure is just next level, out of this world sculpting. I'll give you a bit more detail of that in a minute, but I also want to just talk about the articulation of this figure. He does look a bit spindly because of his thin joints and everything, but all of the joints and hinges that you're ever going to need are still packed in with this figure. There's some really interesting articulation on the head as well, which really does capture all of the moments out of The Mandalorian, especially from the first episode of season 1, where he's attacking that base with the Mandalorian. It's just a beautiful figure that's going to go so well with all of those other Mandalorian figures that we have. This one was much needed, of course, because he has been around since the first season. I guess they could have just repacked the original IG-88 figure and repainted him a little bit like they did with the Black series, but no, with the Vintage Collection, they've gone all out and they've given us a brand new sculpt. And man, was it worth the wait. What a fantastic figure this is. Let's take a look at him in a bit more detail. You can see there his ammo straps going across him there, which is a separate piece, and it's like a soft vinyl plastic. And if we just move that up there, you can just see all the inner workings of the droid. Absolutely fantastic. Same on the back. We'll have a look at that there. All that sort of pipe work and stuff. All different colours as well. You've got like a lighter silver, you've got gunmetal grey, you've got bronzing. He is near on perfect in my opinion. I don't think you'll ever need another IG-11. This is it. This is definitive. So there he is. He's got both weapons in his hands. As you can see, he comes with the longer rifle there, which mine is a little bit bent. I'm going to have to sort that out, as you can see there. I am going to have to bend that back into place with a bit of hot water. That's probably just come from the packaging. And that is one little complaint that I do have about the Vintage Collection, is the accessories at the moment. They are made of a more rubbery plastic rather than like a harder plastic, which is a bit unfortunate. He also comes with his smaller blaster there. That one's more black, whereas this one has a bit more of a wash on it to make it sort of more gunmetal grey. But there he is, looking absolutely fantastic. And we're going to go through the articulation right now, because the articulation of this figure is one of the big selling points. He is absolutely packed. So we'll start on the head. So the head has multiple different places where it articulates. At the very top of the head, it spins there. The second bit down also spins independently by itself, as does the third bit, so you can have his eyes moving around in all different directions, just like he does in the show. The whole head also does turn on its axes at the bottom there as well. So that is just fantastic. The shoulders are on like a little ball hinge here, which does remove, so you can take the shoulder out. There you can see a little ball with the little peg hole there, and you just pop it back into place. And after that, you have full range of movement on that ball, as well as the joint itself moving around on the shoulder. So literally you can just get him into any position that you want. What I would say is the more you move that around, the more you take that out, the looser it's going to become. This arm is already a little bit loose, but it still stays in position absolutely fine. Moving on down to the elbow. This is the joint that you're going to want to take care of the most, because it is quite stiff when it came out of the packaging. But if you're just gentle there, you can move it. But once you've got it moving, it does move very nicely on that hinge there. And of course, it also swivels as well. The hands are sculpted with all the fingers there, so you can hold the blasters with the trigger finger as well. And that spins there. No hinge, it's just a swivel. Next, if we move his belt slightly out of the way, you can see more of his chest there. That is a joint there, so that is spins all the way round, complete 360. And there's not too much of a ball on there. You're not going to need it. It's a droid. He's very upright, and that's all you really need is the swivel. Then he has the hinges on the waist, I guess if you could call it. There you can see those hinges there, and obviously you can kick right out, kick forward, kick all the way back. Plenty of movement there. You also have a cut at the thigh, which is great. Coming down to the knees, you have a knee joint there, but it also does swivel, and you just need to be a little bit careful there because of those wires. You don't want to go too far that way, because otherwise you'll break those wires. You have a bit more range of movement that way, but then obviously they sort of untangle and they don't wrap around the legs as well. So you want to keep them like that, really, in my opinion. Moving on down to the feet, and they are on a hinge and they swivel as well. So the articulation is what really makes this figure. It is absolutely amazing, to be honest, that they've got such great articulation out of this droid, considering that the joints are so thin and spindly. And if you're not careful, you know, the elbows especially could potentially break. You've got to be really careful with those, because as I say, especially this one, the right arm with mine, it came out of the package very, very stiff, and it took me a while just to get it moving. But once it's moving, it's okay. If you're going to force that, you'll probably split it at this point here. But once again, looking at the detail of the figure, not just the sculpting, which is just phenomenal, really. The amount of detail that they've got with all these little pipes and everything going on, all the different parts of the droid. The paintwork is fantastic as well, and it really does represent the show, in my opinion. So you have the silver on his head, we've got the bronze pieces on his shoulders there, and then a different coloured bronze for his arms and his upper legs. But he just looks absolutely fantastic. We've got nice silver paint on that strapping there as well, and that crosses over on his back. And I would imagine that you would be able to take that off. You could take the arms off and you could take that off, but why would you want to do that? You want to keep that on. That's part of the look. All right then, so let's quickly take a look what he looks like with Baby Yoda, because of course Grogu, he does save him and he does carry him a few times. So we just want to sort of grab him there, and there you go. They really look the part together. We'll bring in the Mandalorian as well, so you can get an idea of the height of the droid. So there you go. Much, much taller than the Mandalorian himself, which he should be, of course. The IG units are very, very tall. And there you go. Just show him. Look at that. Look how good they look together. Two of the best figures in a few years, in my opinion. When I first got this figure, I thought, you know, I was absolutely blown away by this figure. Look at him. He just looks like he's straight from the show. I prefer this one to the Beskar one. And then next to this guy, absolutely fantastic. As I say, we've waited a while for IG-11, but we finally got him. And there we go. He stands up without a problem as well, looking great. So there you go then, guys. That is my review of the Vintage Collection IG-11 from The Mandalorian. I don't usually give figures a score, but if I was going to give this figure a score, this one for me would be a 10 out of 10. I don't think they could really have done anything better to this figure. He looks like he should from the show. The articulation's brilliant. The paintwork's brilliant. And to be honest, it surpassed any of my expectations. So really recommend you pick this one up. So there you go then, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my members and Patreon supporters, and we shall see you on the next one.